nice little intro for you. All right. So, the bombshell report just came out. All major news publications reporting this. That there appears to be a leaked opinion from the Supreme Court signed by all 5 conservative justices saying that they want to do away with abortion rights. They want to shift it to the states. They don't want to have a federal abortion rights at the federal level. A 49-year precedent set by Roe versus Wade. They want to do away with all of it. None of this is really surprising. When you take a look at the conservative agenda, this is textbook. As somebody who grew up engulfed in the conservative mindset, I have decades and decades of experience, listening to their arguments, listening to what they support and what they don't support. And this is the biggest one on the list. Besides the Second Amendment, abortion rights is one of their biggest clarion calls to do away with. And, this is what they've always wanted. Like I said, I've heard this for decades and decades and decades, to do away with abortion rights in this country, citing religious reasons, citing morality reasons. This is like why we call you guys the American Taliban, because conservatives in America want to set up a Christofascist theocracy where they tell people what to do and where to go with their bodies, with their morality, with their freedoms, with their liberties. And another side note about freedom and liberty. This is coming from people who preach nonstop freedom and liberty. It's all they talk about. It's their 2 main talking points that they throw at us day in and day out. We care about freedom and liberty. We just want freedom and liberty. You want it for yourselves. You don't want it for women. You don't want it for black people. You don't want it for indigenous people. You don't want it for trans people. You don't want it for X, Y, and Z because the Bible says so. Once again, you want a theocracy. You don't care about separation of church and state. The Supreme Court doesn't care about separation of church and state. This is how lost we are. This is how irrelevant the Supreme Court has become. That these 5 Christofascist right-wing ideologues are trying to do away with something that has majority popularity. Upwards of 60 to 70% of the country are saying don't touch abortion rights. An almost 50-year precedent they're trying to overturn. They want it for themselves. They want it for their religion, for their religious beliefs. And they just want to be done with separation of church and state, guys. They want a theocracy here. They want to police us. As they tell us all they care about is freedom and liberty. They want to have women give birth at behest of the state. Forced births. That's what they want. And they're telling us they care about freedom and liberty. The hypocrisy is so mind-blowing. It is epic. It is truly epic how they have no sense of self-awareness of their own hypocrisy. Freedom and liberty for me, but not for thee. Just say it at this point. You can't get away with it. You can't entertain this duality that you carry around, this cognitive dissonance that you carry around. Just admit it. Just admit that you want a theocracy. Just admit that you don't care about democracy for everybody. It's embarrassing for you to not admit it at this point, because you can't keep the mask on long enough to cover this up. I mean, it's just, man. It's so silly, the duality that these people live with. And they're completely blissfully unaware that they live in this duality. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. It's anti-democratic. It's everything you'd expect from fascists, though. To control people at the behest of the government. That's what they want to do. I think going into the midterms, this is going to be huge for both sides. I think it's going to generate both bases for the 2022 November midterms, which you should be voting in. You should be registered and ready to vote. I see this as being a motivating factor for both sides, for sure. Even though it's too little too late. I mean, what are the Democrats going to do? It's a 5-3 Christofascist supermajority on the Supreme Court. You can't do anything. You can expand the Supreme Court. Does Joe Biden have the political will to do that? No. He's a traditionalist. He's establishment all the way. He's about upholding establishment, not reforming establishment. So it's kind of like a situation we're stuck in. I mean, you should still vote anyways, but I'm just saying it's not going to change much. It will motivate both bases, though. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this about the Republicans overturning Roe v. Wade? Leave me your comments down below.